these young up-and-comers, these bright-eyed and bushy-tailed spring chickens full of piss and vinegar, ready to take over the world, they got a pretty fun business model, which is they run an e-commerce business and then they talk about it, which is similar to what I do. And they have garnered the attention of the e-commerce world on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you've seen these guys. And I did their podcast recently. It was really fun. We actually live only a couple hours away. And I asked them if they could come share what's working for their brand, because one of the things that is cool is when somebody says, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. And if you can just get one little piece of inspiration to do something similar, say, oh, you know what, that's interesting, I'm going to try this. And so Ron and Ash are going to do, each of them are going to do half the presentation. One's going to be on retention and one's going to be on acquisition. I think we're starting with Ash, correct? Give it up for Ash, ladies and gentlemen. Are you coming too, Ron?
Yeah, I'll just do some intros.
You faked me out.
Sorry.
All right. And then give you that. All right.
Amazing. Well, first of all, this is our first blue ribbon. So if we don't get invited back, I guess we'll know how we did. But I'm just going to ask everyone to just stand up really quick. If you guys don't mind. Thank you so much. I am not going to ask you guys to stretch or any of that. I just want to give a standing ovation to the Blue Ribbon team for the incredible 2 days already. Thank you guys. Awesome. So yeah, what we're going to be talking about is what we've been doing for the last 5 years and really getting super tactical. There's been incredible presentations yesterday and today. And you see a lot of focus on acquisition and a lot of focus on even retention. And obviously, both are just equally important. So we're going to go right into the tactics of what we're doing in each of us. So a little bit about us, if we haven't gotten the opportunity to meet. My name is Ron Shah.
Ash Malwani.
And we're co-founders of a brand called Obvi. Obvi is a women's health and wellness brand focused around collagen, making collagen fun, sexy, tasty. The whole idea is collagen is unflavored, and we don't believe it needs to be. We believe it can be flavored and exciting to take instead of a product you just throw in your smoothie and forget about it. So what's been our journey? We bootstrapped our brand for the first 3 years. We put in $10,000, and in our first 3 years, we did about $30 million in revenue. From there, we've been building in public. So everything we do, we share on LinkedIn and Twitter. Because we're not venture-backed or anything, so we felt like we could. So we share our P&L, our balance sheet, every ad that works, everything that doesn't work, we share everything. And one of the cool things is we wanted to raise money, but we actually raised it through LinkedIn and Twitter, just through followers and people that we met in the network. And then so far, till this date, we've surpassed about 60 million in revenue. This year we'll do a little over 30 million. And what's really cool is we're starting to learn retail. We just launched nationwide at Walmart and Rite Aid, and figuring out how to make omni-channel work. And we're 2022 Brand of the Year by Stack3D. And I think what's really cool too is we're a small team. We're only 11 people. So I think the one piece that you'll kind of see is a lot of what we do tactically is down to like Ash and I. Ash is CMO co-founder, but he still runs the ads every day. So he's up till midnight, making sure he uploads the new ads the next day. So till this moment, you'll get to see some of those tactical cues. And then going right back to the agenda, Ash is gonna cover segment 1, which is major mistakes we made acquiring customers. And then I'll jump into segment 2, which is driving revenue through strategic email campaigns, really getting into the tactics of certain emails and whatnot that work for us. So I'll let Ash kick it off.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron. So first things first, right? I want to talk about some of the things that we did wrong, because I feel like those are major learning experiences for everybody. Kind of walk through how we thought through some of these problems and how we solved them. And as Ezra says, if you can take away one thing and apply it to your business, then I've done my job here. So I'm going to talk about understanding your numbers, examples of good and bad offers that we ran. Creative diversity and what does that really mean for brands, different types of messaging, some examples of static ads that you should be using. If any of you guys follow me on Twitter, I'm such a big fan of static ads, and I really think more people should be using them. So I'll show you some examples of what we also have been running and the thought process and how we've created these ads and why I think they work. So we'll get into it. So we went from prioritizing ROAS, MER, right? Problem is that you don't understand the full picture, right? With MER, you're saying, okay, 30% of our revenue is going towards ad spend. But what does that tell you about new customer revenue? What does that tell you about returning customer revenue? What does it talk to you about profitability? It's just vanity metrics, in my opinion, right? So from there, we move to NCAC and NCROAS, which is new customer acquisition costs or new customer return on ad spend. And again, this is good if you know what your targets are, but it doesn't tell you anything about if it's adding profit to the business, if it's taking away, again, vanity metrics, right? And then the last thing that we started to prioritize is now contribution margin, right? I think this is a topic that has been pretty much talked about more recently. It's actually an accounting term. And so for marketers to start talking about contribution margin is really interesting. So again, quick calculation for those who don't know. You're basically taking your sales and taking out all your variable costs, right? So cost of goods, any discounts, any costs associated with shipping, pick, packing, whatever it is, your processing fees from your merchants, and then you're taking out your marketing costs or customer acquisition costs, and you're left with either a positive number or a negative number, right? If you're positively contributing to the business, great. If you're taking away from it, bad, right? So that's what we went from focusing on the vanity metrics of what was going on in the ad account or what was one ad doing, and then going down to this blended level of on a day-to-day basis, are we adding profit to the business when acquiring customers? If yes, great, let's keep it going. If not, something needs to be fixed, okay? So I want to talk about offers, right? And why contribution margin matters here, right? So back in the day, I would say maybe about a year, 18 months ago, this was our main offer, right? You had a 6-month supply of our top selling product, which is a collagen-infused fat burner. With that 6-month supply, you would get 3 free gifts. You'd get a hell of a discount. And the goal here was to get somebody to convert at a high AOV. And I was like, let's throw everything we possibly can, right? A shaker cup, sample sticks, free apple cider vinegar gummies. Like, you'd be stupid not to get a 6-month supply, right? And that's all I was thinking, is I wanted to convert more. I wanted to drive revenue as much as I possibly can. But I didn't really think about what was doing to the business, right? And it sounds stupid now, but it was a mistake that I made. And I was like, I just got to convert better, right? Then you see, the 3-month supply, decent discount, free gift, whatever it is. And then you have your 1-month supply, which is basically you just buy one time, right? And so this was the focus of increasing AOV and increasing conversion rate, right? But the problem here is when you start to add up all the cost of goods, all the discounts that you're offering, the added shipping costs that are associated with even adding these free gifts, your break-even ROAS the ROAS that you need to actually break even on this funnel, although it looks amazing to the customer, you need to be at a 2x return, okay? Now, for a supplement brand, if you're maybe spending less than $5K a day, it's maybe easy, but at 2x, you're telling me that you're breaking even and you're not profiting, like, to scale that is gonna be very difficult, right? So we went back and I figured, all right, let's do a couple things, right? And we'll A/B test this. This was the funnel that we actually tested. 50% of our traffic to the old one, 50% of traffic to the new one, okay? What we did is the first thing is we actually increased the price from $29.99 to $39.99. This gives me more room for margin, okay? The second thing is we removed the free gifts, okay? We wanted to see if these free gifts even did anything to anybody, right? If it was like, oh, it's just a nice to have. If they didn't even know that there were free gifts, would they still buy the product? Are they buying the product because of the free gifts? We weren't even sure if we could answer that question, right? So with the removal of free gifts, increasing the price, adjusting the discount slightly, my break-even ROAS that I need to achieve on Meta now, or other marketing channels, is a 1.44. So you tell me what is a lot easier to achieve at scale, probably this one, right? So what ends up happening is when you A/B tested this, 50% goes to one, 50% goes to the other. Obviously, this is going to have a lower conversion rate, okay? But in my head is, can I get my numbers in a way where, all right, my break-even point is 1.4 versus a 2, and then worry about the rest of the landing page after? Our conversion rate dropped, but it wasn't enough to say this wasn't good enough. And so what we ended up doing is we went all in on this funnel. And I said, you know what, I just gotta improve the value on the rest of my landing page. And that was how I brought the conversion rate back up. We tested different headlines, different imagery, things that everybody should be testing on their landing pages on a day-to-day basis. But I wanted our offer to be in a great position where that I could afford a better CAC overall. So some offers to test out for your brand if you are looking to A/B test something, and I would definitely suggest constantly A/B testing offers throughout the year, right? The way that people think about supplements and weight loss or whatever it is in January, Q1, everyone's like, new year, new me, right? So any offer that they'll see, they'll probably grab, but then you get into the summer months and people are like, it's okay, like, I'm gonna enjoy my summer. I'm gonna, Q4 is coming up, the holidays are coming up, I'll wait till next year, right? So testing different offers throughout the summer, and then you have Q4 where we're not really a giftable item, and so I need to be aggressive on my offer in Q4, right? So some offers to really test out here is bundling, right? If you have something that is a consumable, you can increase your AOV by just selling more of it at a discount, right? There are a lot of people or brands that want to stay away from associating the brand with a number in terms of a discount. So maybe doing BOGO, so buy one, get one, buy two, get one. So you're not really associating like, oh, they always have 30% off. Buy two, get one is literally 33% off. And then cashback offers. Instead of doing a discount, you're giving cash back. So what ends up happening is you can give 20% cash back at the end of the transaction. So somebody spending $100, they don't actually get $20 back until after, right? So you're getting the full upfront amount. And there's platforms out there like Fondue that do these things. So you can actually be aggressive with cashback offers, and you can literally tell them, hey, I'll give you cashback to shop at our store. So it gives them an incentive to come back. And then gift with purchase, right? So if you have, a line of items in the store offering maybe complimentary products for free just so they can try some of your other products is a good way to improve value here. And then some things to always consider here, right? Price testing. When was the last time you guys tested your pricing, right? Are you selling too low? Are you selling too high? Do you know what the difference would be if you increase prices by 10 bucks? What would it do to your margins? I would highly suggest price testing whenever you can, right? We increased our price by 33%, and it allowed us to scale into that. So something to always consider there. Price anchoring. I'll go back to the offer real quick. Price anchoring, right? Showing the highest price bundle first, and then kind of going down, right? I'll give you an example. We tested this where it was reversed, right? So the 1 month, then the 3 month, and then the 6 month. I think the AOV was around $67. We just swapped the 6 month and the 1 month, and the AOV shot up to about 80 bucks, right? Conversion rate suffered a little bit, but that test actually netted out a higher revenue per session. So consider price anchoring, and then clear communication around the offer. This is like obvious, but if you have a discount code, don't make somebody try to find it, right? Automatically apply it. Make it easy for the consumer to just get through checkout and just communicate, how much are they saving? What is the discount? Show the savings wherever possible, and just make it easy for the consumer. So obvious, but sometimes not so obvious mistakes to avoid. Be mindful of adding unnecessary costs, right? When I look back at the initial offer that I was running and adding all the free gifts and unnecessary discounts, I feel stupid doing it, because it's like, well, obviously you're adding cost to your bottom line and taking away from profitability, but in the back of your head, you're like, well, I'm gonna convert so many more people, I'm gonna get more customers. So always consider just adding unnecessary costs and work with your finance team. Understand, what is the shipping cost of something? You might think it costs something to ship out a certain bundle, but do you actually know what the exact number is? That's something that in the back of your mind, when you're calculating the contribution margin for your funnels, you may be underestimating certain costs, right? So working with your finance team to understand what that is. Break-even target ROAS, I think, is very important, right? So like I said, and I called out, our break-even ROAS for this funnel is a 1.44. Make sure you know what that is. So on a day-to-day basis, when you are running your ads and you're looking at a blended return, okay, cool, I know I need to be at a 1.44. If I'm below that, what's going on? Let me dig into it. But if I'm above that, great, I know I'm adding to my contribution margin, right? And this goes out without saying. If you have different funnels, make sure you're understanding your numbers for all funnels, because everything has different costs associated, different shipping targets, whatever it is. So definitely look at different costs per different products. I want to move on to creative diversity. This was the second thing that we had a problem with. And I would say most of you have a creative diversity problem, right? I don't know most of you guys, so I'm just blanket statement here. But how can you tell if you have a diversity problem? The best way is to map it out, right? And so we're going to talk about asset types and then types of messaging. We actually have a quote here from Henry Kelly, who's the head of e-commerce at Meta. Creative diversification, the art of embracing a variety of ad formats and concepts, emerges as the catalyst for reaching new audiences, rejuvenating engagement, and spurring action. And what does that really mean? It's just a fancy way of saying different people resonate with different types of creatives, so make different creatives, right? So let's get into it. So here's what I would highly recommend every single one of you do when you get back in your ad account and you're taking a look at the ads that you're running, is really map this out and find where your gaps are, right? So there's two types of assets. There's static ads, and there's video ads, right? And then within that, you have lo-fi ads, you have high-polished ads, right? Every single different variation will resonate differently with somebody in this room, right? Everybody in this room has one common goal, and that's to build a business, be profitable, and make money, right? But the reasons of why you're doing it is, you'll probably give me 100 different answers, right? So everybody reacts differently to different types of content is the point of this, right? So what I would do is make this quadrant and literally fill in, all right, well, I have 100 ads, where do they fit into this model, right? So for us, you could see we're like very highly leveraged on lo-fi videos, AKA your UGC style content, right? Everybody's trying to pump out UGC, they wanna get briefs, they wanna get creators, they wanna make TikToks, right? As did everybody else, right? But I realized that we weren't leveraging any of the other sides of things, right? We have almost like a 5-to-1 ratio of this type of content. And so when you're actually trying to diversify the ad account and you want to scale the ad account, it's all about finding the right messaging and the right ads to hit different types of people. So if I'm only doing this, I'm only hitting X amount of people of the total amount of people I can hit, right? So plugging in these holes is very important. And that's where we actually found out that static ads just perform way better for us because we just never tested it and never thought to test it. So like I said, go back and do this exercise. It will take you time, but you will realize where you're actually missing out on. Then you have different types of messaging, right? So you take the last slide of the different types of creatives, and how do you layer in different types of messaging, right? So most of us are missing this, right? The problem unaware. People who don't know they have a problem. How are you talking to those people? Then you have people who are problem aware, where they're aware of their pain points, but they don't know about a solution, right? These are our very top of funnel awareness people. This is where I think a lot of people don't make enough creative because it is expensive. You do have a higher CAC when it comes down to these messages because you're trying to enter people into your overall funnel and educate about the product, right? A lot of people only focus on solution aware, right? So people who are aware of multiple solutions to a product, but they don't know if you're the right fit, right? Then you have product and brand aware, people who are aware of your brand, aware of your product, but they're not sold yet, right? And all of us are doing the comparison ads, like us against them, social proof ads, review ads, this and that. That's where we're focusing on, and you're gonna hit this middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel audience all the time, and you're gonna miss out on a ton, right? So if you take these four and put them into each one of these, you have so many different types of creatives, and you have so many different types of messaging per creatives. So there's so much to really work on when it comes down to creatives. So I want to talk about some examples of static ads that you should be running. I call these the lifestyle banner ads, the UGC banner ads, AI banner ads, review ads, community ads, us versus them, problem versus solution, news media. Take a picture of this, and then I'll actually run through some of the examples for what we did at Obvi. So this next ad is a little controversial, so I apologize there, but I'll explain why it works. So we have an ad which is what I consider a lifestyle banner, right? Lifestyle meaning we had some imagery from our photo shoots, high quality imagery, and we overlaid some elements on it, right? So as you can see, we have this pretty massive headline on it that says Fupa Killer. If you don't know what a Fupa is, Google it. I'm not gonna explain it to you. But the reason I even came up with this, right, and it's a really cool example, is I saw comments on our ad of somebody just joking around and said, well, will this help my fupa, right? And it had I think 100 likes on it. People were laughing. And I was like, honestly, this is a really funny concept. Let me just stick it on an ad and see what happens. And this became our top performing ad, right? So 2 points here is if you're not reviewing your comments for little gold nuggets of how your customer or potential customers are talking, do that, because you can find crazy phrases like this. So instead of me competing with everybody else who's saying the same thing of, oh, lose weight, boost metabolism, I'm saying some shit like this, you know? And so layering on, a strong headline with some USPs, right? Your benefits at the bottom, and then a little bit of social proof at the bottom as well. You can get a pretty clean ad, hit the right audience, and find a cool creative that can really scale in the ad account. And this ad has actually been working for 18 months now and is our top selling creative. So on to the next one. UGC banner, right? So this is basically taking any of the content that you're getting from your customers and creating a static ad around it, right? So we have some customers that are sending in pictures of them just holding a bottle or using the product, and it adds a little bit of social proof to it, right? So again, you have the main headline, which I think when you really think about it, iOS 14.5 happened, messed up targeting and whatever it is. But I don't know if you guys realize it was also at the same time that Facebook removed the 20% text rule. And I don't think that was a coincidence at all. I think it was because they realized you really need to call out your users on your ads. And so as soon as that really happened, we're like, okay, let's really leverage writing headlines on these ads and really call out the specific user, again, based off of the types of messaging that I mentioned. But yeah, again, this is a different style that you could use. Now, the next one is something that we've been testing recently, and I actually really like this, AI stuff, right? So you don't need a lot of resources to really do this. We literally typed in butter on fire, and this is what it gave us, right? And so we had a headline that was, it's like melting butter, right? Losing fat, burn off the fat, it's like melting butter. And that becomes the main image, right? When you're scrolling, this is pretty eye-catching, right? It's like it's butter on fire, what does that even mean? Have the product at the bottom, and it's like, okay, cool, there's a product that can help me lose weight. Let me go and click into it, right? You can make a ton of these. You can literally tell AI, I want 20 of these, and just test 20 of these, and have the same headline or whatever it is. So when people are like, oh, I'm only testing 10 ads a week or 10 ads a month, I'm like, you could knock out 20 in a day just by using AI. So something I think a lot of people are gonna start doing, so definitely leverage it. Review ads, I think these are incredible. It's social proof, basically taking a review and making it an ad, right? And maybe highlighting some of the main points in this ad where if you don't want to read the whole thing, you're kind of skimming through the important points and you get a gist of what the product is. Then we have a community example. I wasn't sure I wanted to share this because this is one of the ads that is ripping right now. If you are in a Facebook group and somebody posts in there, this is what the post this is what it looks like organically, right? So we just decided to take something and turn it into an ad, right? I don't know if you guys know Obvi. We have a Facebook community of over 90,000 people. We have so many stories like this. So we have tons of content that we can literally take from our Facebook group and run this as an ad. And on the actual feed, it's super organic. And so this ad I probably started running 3 weeks ago. It has 2,000 comments on it already because people are engaging with it, thinking it's an actual organic post. And so I would definitely test this out. I'm only sharing this here, so don't share with anybody else. Then you got the us versus them. I think a lot of people do use this where you're comparing yourself to other brands or other solutions out there. Pretty simple. I think everybody's kind of done this. This one, I really like something different, right? You want to call out the right user. How do you do it, okay? A lot of our customers that do take this product suffer from PCOS. And so I wanted to hit that group directly. So what I did was I literally called them out, right? I said, do you suffer from these 3 problems, which are associated with people who do have, PCOS? And I'm giving them a solution right there and then, right? I'm not giving them too much context of what the solution does, but hey, if you resonate with all 3 of these problems, I'm clicking that ad and I'm letting that landing page sell me, right? So this is a really cool format to use. And then you got the news media ad example. This is something that can get tricky. This will give you really cheap traffic, but lower conversion rate. And the reason being is that somebody sees a story, they're gonna click on it, they're gonna expect to read a story, right? So this works really well with listicles or advertorials. Test it. I would say it's gonna give you cheap traffic, high click-through rate, but low conversion. So you need a landing page that really goes with this. Ash, stop talking, it's Ron's turn. Okay. Thank you guys. I'll pass it off to Ron.
I killed it. Awesome. Give it up for Ash one more time, guys. Hopefully that's super helpful. Awesome. So I'm going to jump into driving revenue with strategic email campaigns. And some of the things we'll cover is critical elements to recognize for your brands, kind of the starting point before you even jump into emails, strategic email designs, flow priority and segmentation, our favorite tech stack for retention, and then just some nuggets. But I think, one of the things, and I think this is a really critical exercise that I would, tell you guys all to do. One of the things that we use as like our North Star is these critical brand elements. So what we did was, at Obvi, we said, what are some of the most important highlights of our brand? Okay, so we talked about, we have a community, like Ash mentioned, 90,000 people. We have an app that you can download and shop on there. We have rewards. We also have subscription. We have a store locator because we're available in retail. We also have a phone wallet gift card thing that you can do where we can drop money right into your Apple Wallet. We also have some really cool reviews. We have recipes and blogs. We have a satisfaction guarantee. And we have 500,000 plus customers. We have really cool social profiles on TikTok, Instagram, etc. But we also have a quiz where you can find out what product to get, right? We have a really cool FAQ with over 50 different questions answered in detail. We have a membership program, but then we also have a really cool how to get started guide. We have a dosage guide, which can tell you what product to take when. And then we have some really cool cross-selling elements because some products can work together really well. And then we have an about us, right? Because we're a brand and we want to tell our story too. And then we have some really cool before and after transformations, right? When we did this, and I just listed to you guys pretty much all the critical elements of our brand. When we did this, we recognized that half the time we were writing our emails or writing our text messages or sending out a push notification on the app, we weren't even mentioning more than 1/10 of this, right? And it's so easy to forget all of the elements that your brand has to offer because you're so much in the motion of, let me get this out, let me get this sale going, let me get this promo going, let's drive revenue, et cetera. But then why do you have all these things, right? And so when we put this together, this actually sits in our office on a whiteboard of making sure that at least anywhere between 20, 30, 40% of these things are mentioned in our emails. So definitely challenge you guys on that. And then I think we have a really cool step and procedure before we even design an email and how we do testing. So one of the things that we did last year, actually, we made the switch from Klaviyo to SendLane, mainly because we got so deep into our Klaviyo where no matter what agency we'd hire or work with, no one could fix our mess. We had flows that were done 6 times over, and we didn't even know which one was accurate. We were spending, I think it was like 12 grand a month, and it was just getting pretty much out of hand. And so 1, wanted a fresh start, 2, wanted to save a lot of money. So when we did that, we actually started to become a lot more strategic in our approach. So Right off the bat, some of the things that we do on the A/B testing level, obviously subject line. You can go super vague, but you can also go super exact, right? On the hero image that we put in, if we're not doing an all text email, we'll do brand and versus a product announcement. On our content, we'll obviously choose image versus text. Our copy, we'll try and decide if it's gonna go super clickbait or are we gonna get descriptive. Our CTA button is either learn more or buy now. And then we'll obviously determine our time delays. I think one of the things that we started doing when we were running emails for so long was we just assumed we were doing a lot of this. Or we assumed our agency was doing a lot of this. And when you actually step down and say, wait, are you actually doing this for majority of your emails? The answer is probably gonna be no. Because, oh yeah, you know, I know text works, I'm just gonna keep running with that. Or I just know this works, I'm just gonna keep running with it. And you're acquiring, obviously, new customers that are gonna behave differently from different channels, et cetera. And so having a really good testing methodology, although obvious, right? Nothing that I said here is like, oh wow, that's so cool. It's obvious, but it's important to make it part of your methodology. So, and then we have at least internal baseline, okay? What we tell ourselves of how to say a campaign did well, okay? So if a campaign gets a 55% open rate, okay, that's subject line, that's a winner, that's a good indicator. A click-through rate of at least 2%. And obviously revenue is a little bit tricky because we may be segmenting, but typically when we're sending to our most important cohorts, we're driving about 27 to 30K in revenue from one send, right? Revenue for flows is just not applicable here. But all right, let's jump into some of the strategic things that we've done in our email since we've made the move from Klaviyo to Sendlane. One thing we do is, so this is right here is a post-purchase welcome kind of email, all right? One thing we did before we even sent out this email is on the actual post-purchase page and thank you page, we had a survey that just asked people, how come you bought today? Right? What is some of the problems you're dealing with, or what are some of the things you're considering into your purchase? And one of the prompts had said, you know, during COVID-19, they suffered hair loss, right? Our problem helps with hair, skin, nails, weight loss, and joint pain. So we took the survey result and we dynamically inserted that into the email that we sent out. What this does here, it creates an extreme level of personalization. Everyone sends out welcome emails and thank you emails and post-purchase emails, but if you're able to take into consideration why someone's doing something and why someone purchased and reminding them that, just that affiliation of, oh wow, like you recognize that I was dealing with something during COVID-19 and you're actually acknowledging that, became super personal. We get some awesome responses from this too. But it's an easy way to integrate this, right? Getting that zero-party data and then being able to embed it pretty much instantly. Another one is our abandoned cart recovery email. So this is really cool. Typical abandoned cart emails, right? You start with, 1 hour, you'll send a, hey, you have something in your cart. Then you'll probably go 3 hour and you'll say, hey, I have a really cool discount for you, it's 10% off. And then 1 day later, you'll do the Hail Mary offer, right? What I think, if you actually go down to the fundamentals of what an abandoned cart email is supposed to do, is take your highest intent shopper and get them back to the cart, right? So what we started doing was a couple of things. Number one was we did a little bit of a surprise and delight, where we'll take our cheapest cost of good item and we'll say, hey, we added it to your order, but to see it, to reveal that, you have to click on the button here, right? You have to go and see what we added. So again, you take your highest intent shopper and you get them back into the cart, right? Number two as well is we'll give them mystery codes, right? Where, hey, we're not gonna tell you what the discount is necessarily, and we have different variations of it, but try this code out and you'll see what type of discount you're gonna get. Again, the people who have intent and the highest intent, they are going to wanna check out what you're giving them. We've been trained to kind of do, hey, do reminder, 10% off, Hail Mary, and I think that is what we need to change, because fundamentally, what you're trying to do is make them make a decision on an email. Instead, let them make the decision back on the cart, which is going to always be the best place. So the goal of this, again, is to just give you guys a different way of thinking about something simple as abandoned cart, which has been around, everyone runs it, and whatnot. Cool. Another thing that we do is we'll do a lot of surprise and delight for our high LTV, high recurring segment, okay? So what we'll do here is if we're looking to launch a new product or we're thinking about launching a new flavor, obviously not applicable to all of you guys here who may not have the ability to do this, but if you're in apparel and launching a new variant, or if you're, whatever business you may be and you have the ability to launch new SKUs, one of the cool things that we do is we go to our customer base, and instead of always doing a promo, or instead of always doing something that is asking them, to buy from us, we'll do little things like, hey, you're one of 20 people that we're hoping to help pick the next flavor or help pick the next product, right? We're super community-driven brand, and getting this involvement, getting people excited about this, what's really powerful is an email like this still drives incredible sales for us, but what's really powerful is you're driving brand affinity to where people are like, oh, you know what? I'm getting involved in the process of helping build your brand. I'm not going anywhere, right? I want to see this through. And so just another way to kind of strategically think about what type of campaigns you're sending. And you may not have anything down the pipeline. Maybe what you're doing is like just trying to get some ideas, right? But I just see it so often where there are brands that may have been around for 5, 6 years and have just never involved their customers in any decision making in their brand, right? And it's like, why not? Why, even if it just gives you one idea, right? So this is something we like to do very regularly and very often. Another thing that we do is, for us, we believe offers and promos are earned. They are not given, okay? And so everything is gated by access. If you wanted to get a discount, or you want to find out what Black Friday deal we have coming, or you want to find out anything about what we're launching or the next SKU or the next flavor, right? You're going to have to give us something. And that ranges from, we'll take messenger opt-ins. I mean, we'll literally take anything. We're like a flea market sometime where we'll come to you, we'll go to our customers and say, hey, give us a messenger opt-in, right? And you'll get access to this. Or we'll go, hey, why don't you opt into our SMS? Or if you really want the link to this new flavor launch we're doing, you can only buy it on our app. Download our app, shop there. Or if you want to find out what's the sale gonna be for Black Friday, you have to join our community on Facebook to see what that looks like, right? Or we'll sometimes say, hey, follow us on TikTok, and you'll get to see on live what we're gonna talk about as a new launch. What's really important here is utilizing not just email, but all of your other access points, right? Think about your socials, think about your SMS. If you're using Messenger, whatever you're using, start to utilize that as, hey, I want people to kind of be accessible everywhere, right? Obviously, you're gonna get the most obvious thing, which is opt-ins, and you're gonna be able to market to them. But more importantly, consumers are getting tired of getting marketed by the same channels. So sometimes what's really cool is we'll find out, taking one segment from email and just getting them opted into Messenger, you'll start to see a much better conversion rate from them, or a better response rate, just because it's a different platform, right? So think about access, think about promos, and not giving without taking, because it just comes out to be a lot more valuable in the future. All right, here's another one that we like to do, where we'll do a click to reveal offer. 2 sentences, really short. If you look at the subject line, it makes 0 sense. So you have to open for it to make sense. It says 7 hours and 4 minutes. For what, right? And it's us talking about a launch of something. The point of this email, again, nothing crazy that we're doing here. We're launching a product and have an offer going on. But I think the way we crafted it, right, is you want the open. We want that 55% open rate, okay? And then I want a 2%, 3%, 4% click-through rate, right? So what are the 2 things that you're gonna make people do, right? And now, at the end of the day, you don't wanna mislead them. Luckily, we're able to have products and run a lot of cool variation flavors and SKUs so we're able to offer a lot of things, but just another way to think about an exclusive offer / early access. All right, I'm also gonna give you different examples from just Obvi, so you guys can take out. There's this brand called Bulk. What they do is they use a tool called Litmus, Litmus, and they embed a live poll in the email itself. Okay, so now, typically when we do polls, right, we're telling people to go click on this link and go do this poll somewhere, right? This poll actually lives within the email itself and collects the zero-party data right there, right? Now, what's really cool here is, again, they did this whole thing about picking the next flavor and voting and getting their community involved, but they're actually what they did here, and you know, we know the team there, but what's really cool is they actually use this to indicate what product they're gonna order next. They had not ordered, they just, you know, conceptualized flavors they wanted to, and being able to have someone get an email and vote right there, get people involved, consumers felt involved, they got a really, really good read on supply chain-wise what they should order and in what rank order, right? And just creates a really cool sense of involvement. And obviously the interaction rate's high. So just another way to think about how you're setting up your email. Feastables. You guys have probably seen this brand around, Mr. Beast. He's an absolute beast. What they do is really playful. Obviously, different audience, a little bit more younger audience, so not everyone can do this. But what they did was they used kind of like a viral game where if you click this button 500 times, and so now imagine you're just driving clicks on an email, right? You can win 50% of your next order. I think they, you know, 95% of people ended up only getting like 10% off. But it's just to start thinking about interaction points with your customers, because it's been so stale for so long, which is, I'm gonna send you this email, I'm gonna tell you what to do, and I'm gonna watch the results and see if you did it, right? And I think we have to kind of rethink how we do a lot of the other things. We have quizzes now on our websites. We do landing pages based on where they're coming from. And on the acquisition end, it's like we're doing all these fancy things to segment and really prioritize customers. On the retention end, it's always been very stale. So some really cool examples here. Here's some other ones I really like. So on the all to your guys' left, you see a company here, Busy Bees. They make you do a crossword puzzle to find out the discount code. And if you solve the crossword puzzle, now you can go and use the answer to that as the discount code. So now, time spent on that email from a customer standard, you have a few minutes. Secondly, it's gamified, right? So like, oh, I want to solve this. And now if you solved it, you have the inherent feeling of, I got to use this. Like, I won this, right? Another one, Ballbacks, they do the word search, right? So find the word of the discount code, right? And now again, gamified, you win it, you get it, you're going to want to use it, right? So high intent. And then the last example, got a little bit cut off, sorry, but it was, what would you do? It's a poker mastermind group. I'm not a customer, but I think Jimmy is. It's what's really cool here is what they did is, they put out a mock hand and said, hey, what would you do here? Fold, raise, or call, right? You interact and you're answering it. Just think about getting the customer more involved, right? In all of these examples, you're kind of, you know, let me play, let me enjoy. And what's really cool is none of these examples, except maybe the poker one, have really anything to do with the product the company's selling, right? All right, jumping to something else that we did that was pretty cool. We launched nationwide in Walmart in last August, and we have a large community, and we wanted to drive tons and tons of offline sales just to obviously make Walmart happy, and obviously for us to make sure that the sales are gonna be good in Walmart opening week. So one thing that we did was we actually told, we told our customers, if you go offline and you shop at Walmart, you can upload the receipt to us, and we'll credit back in a form of a gift card the entire amount of the order that you spent on our Obvi product, right? We're able to do that with Aisle, which was really cool. And then what we also have is with Novel is you're able to drop in one, based on like geo targeting as well, but even if you aren't doing the geo targeting, you can actually drop in a gift card to someone's wallet directly, right? So what's really awesome is like, imagine now you're just on your phone and you get a push notification that says, hey, you just got $10 in a gift card in your Apple Wallet to shop at Obvi. Both of these things, we're driving the initial opt-in and access point through email, and then utilizing tools to finish the job. But just additional ways to utilize your customer and trying to get and infiltrate them to either do something else, like go shop offline, or utilize something like a wallet pass, which we typically are using for our credit cards and boarding passes, to go and shop as well. All right, so here's another one that I think was a really good strategy, and this came from Ash's kind of viewpoint of, hey, you know what? We're like okay with a 1.5 or 2x ROAS on Facebook. How can we like give so little to people who are driving true referral, right? If you actually give your referral or your affiliate program, let's call it 50%, right? Let's call it 50% referral fee. Is that technically that bad, right? Because you're willing to, if Facebook told you, hey, I'll give you a 2x ROAS, right? You're probably gonna go and scale. Yet when we think about it and trying to give 50% commission back to an affiliate program, it seems insane. It's like, oh no, I don't want to. I don't want to go above 15, 20, 30%. So this was an email that did really well, where we upgraded people on the commission percentage that we give them. So we give them 50%, in line with our metrics and return that we get on Facebook. But it's a really cool surprise and delight that works. And then we also give them free Obvi product whenever you want. As a way of like, oh, you know what? This company is really investing in me. So just rethinking even your affiliate program and how you're communicating with them and changing it every now and then and testing different things. This one, I'll just go through real quick. Taking your landing pages and turning them into emails is something that, so this is actually a complete landing page that Ash runs ads to. Has been a fantastic email campaign that we've sent as well. And the reason is these are the places that people are initially making their purchase. Just reusing it or reutilizing how you're using those landing pages in an email format as well, probably gonna work as well, right? Because it worked the first time. So that's been a really cool strategy that we've been using. Another one thing that we did was, like we said, we're super public about everything. We actually went and apologized to our customers about stuff that we did wrong. There was a flavor that wasn't good, and we knew it. We just kept it around for too long, right? So Ash and I went into a video, got a whole video recording done, wrote a whole apology email, and we'll continue to do this anytime we make mistakes. So finding like ways to, again, talk to your customers in a different format than, hey, buy this, do this promo, et cetera, just really opens up the transparency and another format of communication. Biggest thing about campaigns is we run out of ideas on what to send. And we're told that we need to send 3 to 5 emails a week sometimes, right? Depending on your list size. So just thinking about ways to interact and continue the campaign format. Lastly, here's how we break down and prioritize our flows and segments. The main point that I'm gonna talk about here is we're all so used to sending out one type of abandoned cart email, one type of welcome series, one quiz flow, one post-purchase, one replenishment flow, right? That's just what we've been ingrained to take. Like, oh, that's the bare minimum you need to do. What we realized was we have different customers, and this has been a topic of conversation across a lot of the different talks. But we've been told that there are so many reasons people buy. There's so many different types of people that buy. So how come when it comes to sending out our flows or setting those up, we try to make it one generic way? So what we do is we have a separate abandoned cart email for new customers, right? Because if you're new, I kind of want to talk to you differently than a returning abandoned cart customer is like, hey, what the hell are you doing? Like, is everything okay, right? Similar to our welcome series, like we have a separate flow for people who just shop on our website versus people who came through a pretty direct response ad from Ash, shopping from our landing page, we're going to talk to them a little bit differently. And similar to if you bought a separate product, right? If you bought a collagen powder versus a collagen burn, which helps with weight loss, we're going to talk to you differently because we're solving different problems. So this is just right there, more sort of screenshot to show you guys kind of how we think about different flows. And I think that's about it. If you guys want the deck and you guys want to connect with us, feel free to download it. And can't thank you guys enough for this experience. And thank you again.
Give it up for Ron and Ash.